For a challenge, I'd spawned in total wilderness naked. I also couldn't wear Zed's clothes or use pre-existing buildings for anything besides looting. In 11 days since then, I'd secured a consistent food and water supply, built a rudimentary shelter on the river, and begun scouting the nearby area. But having picked it clean of loot, I had to ask myself, was there anything more out there for me in the trees? Or am I doomed to live, rot, and die alone by the riverside? I prepared to answer this question. My plan hinged on day trips along the riverside, anchoring my exploration while restricting where the dead could approach from. Without a watch, I'd rely on instinct for when to turn back, and as I'd only explored to the north, I should be able to push far into the unknown. Sleeping, I thought of all the loot I could find, and dreaded only finding ruins in the trees. Ditching all unnecessary weight, I cooked food for the day and took in the heat. A moment of calm before the storm. No dead so far, but that didn't mean my movements weren't watched. Now fighting through them, I gathered random items off their corpses and leather from their clothes and pushed into the unknown. While hunting down two dead, I caught sight of a building unlike anything I had ever seen. An old stable? Still feeling quite early in the day, I kept looking for more. A little ways north, I found something else. Those crates. Every ruin had been desolate, yet this had crates and subsequently promise. Working away at the dead out the front, I yelled to bring any stragglers out and breached the building. I took it all. A few items were high on my list like lighters, hand torches and scissors, but I was happy to see anything that wasn't rocks and branches. Unable to reach the 3 crates in the back without a hammer, I'd have to return another day. Rather than following the same path home, I turned east at the stable to keep exploring. Finding the long ruin from yesterday, I'd made it to familiar territory. Except it wasn't. It was an entirely new collection of buildings. So weird. A walkie-talkie. If it had safe channels, I could tune in immediately. Or I'd have to check each frequency manually. Regardless, it was a potential problem I could manage at home. Covered head to toe in blood and grime, I dumped my haul and began flicking through channels. Static filled my ears for every frequency I checked and persisted into the night. Out of food and hungry, I foraged for insects to lure in an even bigger haul. I agonized over another roast, filleting the fish and adding a healthy dosage of herbs, only for it to fail to satiate my hunger. So much effort for so little gain. The rain broke my trance. I washed in the river, spearfished, and expanded the base before digging into what I could craft. Couldn't make a bed without a needle, but scissors let me cut leather sheets. With a few more resources, I could also make a leather backpack, potentially better alternative to the improvised one I'd carried for days. Grey and dreary, I filled the water skin and attempted to boil it on the campfire. Why not purify it on the fire? Unable to pour it out, I need to make another one and fill it directly with fresh water when I returned. Aiming for the 3 crates I failed to loot, I walked along the river while listening to the tune of static. Encountering the dead, cut the walkie-talkie and fought north. Rather than pathing directly, I remained close to the river, revealing as much as possible. Wiping out any nearby Zeds, I entered the building again and claimed what I had left behind. Just push to the east and then make our way south. I think that's the best approach back to base. I thought I had a spare. Oops. still brimming with energy, I took it as an opportunity to run. The shelves were full. I needed to expand my storage. Trees fell, bats and axes were crafted, floors placed, and walls erected. The 15th day began with planning for future exploration.
Oh, there is more buildings. Okay.
And crafting another water skin to fill directly with purified water.
Are you kidding me?
The 15th day began with collecting bowls to drink from and cutting down more trees. Soon logs covered my floors, and after making more improved stone axes, even more followed. The massive pile netted me level 4 carpentry, letting me build upgraded walls, a far better alternative to the shabby looking ones I'd made my home out of. It also let me make traps, but as foraging food and fishing had proved sufficient, I'd hold off. In case I forgot to save some resources for crafting, I added supplies to a reserve and went to sleep. They were out there again. I was sure my side of the river was clear, and it was the Zeds across the river preventing me from sleeping. But how could I know in the dark? Checking both sides of the river, found nothing, growing the uncertainty that plagued me. Concerning my base, storage was still my priority, but I needed extra layers of protection on this side to negate my fears. After all, there was only a poorly crafted door between me and the unknown of the woods.
So I think push up to the northwest, clear these buildings, or at least what we can get into, and then try and make our way there. If we fail or we start to get tired or weight becomes an issue, push east at this building on the way back. So just a big arcing loop is the play.
Flicking through channels again, I soon ran into the dead. Now by the lakeside, I could look at most of the buildings.
Ooh, great, let's go.
With only one way in and out, I yelled to bring out any nearby dead.
It's more than I thought was skulking about.
And entered. Capping on encumbrance, I consumed the remainder of the food I brought and overloaded myself with loot. A path I thought was clear was far from it. I was still faster than the dead, but with exhaustion setting in, it was only for now. I dropped items to increase my walk speed, weaved through the trees to lose them, rested, and ran home to dump the rest of the weight I'd accrued. Running back, I cleared those near the coast and ventured into the woods again. But it was getting dark. The last pile would be tomorrow's problem. A leather backpack proved superior to an improvised one, so I transferred everything over and prepared to depart again. Grabbing the loot from yesterday, I changed my aim to the partially revealed buildings north of the lake. At first sighting, these ruins didn't show promise, but I checked each one regardless. Cleared and low on food, I ventured to the southeast to hit more buildings on my way back. Having gone through my 2 bats, I resorted to my hand axe. It was hard to tell who exactly made these ruins and for what purpose, but the complexity continued to increase.
That's whack. Why is there a structure like that here?
Hungry, I entered familiar territory and began sprinting.
This is interesting though, especially this blue building. Could be something good.
Once inside, I created gloves, offloaded my haul, and investigated the walkie-talkie I found.
Got one.
Tuning in, I eagerly listened for a voice, only to hear nothing. Either I was out of the range of the signal, or the voice on the other end had gone quiet. maybe there are other stations or channels broadcasting. Now knowing I could find them on other radios, I had even more reason to clash with the dead. Overflowing with branches and chipped stones, I placed the wood next to my campfire, leveled sprinting, and created stone axes. With the logs dumped in the storage room, I could finish it off after I recovered from my moodles. On the 19th day, I sawed logs, built walls onto frames, finished my new room, and sketched future plans for my river house. I wanted a path around the structure for accessibility, but the sheeted windows would leave me vulnerable. Placing logs roughly where I wanted to build, I soon began working on the eastern flank. Waking up chilly, I manufactured some thread to create a leather jacket, patched a hole in my pants, and continued on my wall. It was another familiar day of foraging, chopping, and building, carrying on until I finished the wall and hit level 5 carpentry. I was one off stairs. To round out the day, I kept a strength level and slept soundly behind 2 layers of defense. With the base secure, it was time to venture out again. I was well past due for investigating the blue square, but to the northeast, the fog of war could still hide secrets. Arriving at the river, I stuck close and pressed north.
Yeah, it's starting to look like it curves around. Wonder if there'll be a bridge.
Finding no bridge, more dead, and a curve in the river, it was now highly likely the 2 rivers met, and there was nothing here besides loot on the corpses in my wake. Reaching my weight limit from the disparate loot, and suffering from arm pain from the push-ups, I went along the riverside to reveal the last section and turned south. Closer to home, I ran to ditch the dead, only to see them watching me on the other side the entire time. The new walkie-talkie offered a couple new channels, Hits FM, and an unknown frequency.
There's nothing. It's all gone quiet.
More static, more alone than ever. I washed away the day and spent the evening mindlessly working on the base. Even if I was alone, I'd made significant progress and would continue to do so. Taking this mindset to the base, I continued cleaning up, adding storage for broken tools, and doing some weeding. Persisting through lunch and into the evening,
Damn, that is a lot of fish.
I transferred everything into my storage closet. I was ready to take on the outside, not for some false hope, but to see what was out there for me. With the west knocked out entirely, it was time to commit to the north and east. Stocked up on food and water, I ran to the unexplored collection of buildings, excited to see what the blue one offered. In a new area, it wasn't long until I surpassed 400 kills. I kept climbing. Through winding paths and waves of undead.
Not sure if there's something out there, but the same goes for the north. Oh wait, these are the buildings.
I'd arrived, except my spare baseball bat was about to break, forcing my retreat. I passed the myriad of bodies strewn on the dirt and salvaged some of their clothes to hit the weight limit. Back, I dumped everything, chopped trees, carved more spiked bats, washed, and spearfished into the night. Waking up in bright sunlight, I was unsure of the time, but the yellow tinge felt like the afternoon.
Did I stay up too late?
The complex was large, and the resistance to get there substantial.
Oh, there's more buildings in there.
Could I risk approaching without a whole day to tackle it? So I cooked, relaxed by the fire, prepared for tomorrow.
Ooh, alright. Turns out you can't just spam repair, which sucks.
And went to bed early.
It's a bit too dark for my liking.
Shrouded in darkness, I had a moment to wander.
Oh, okay. So I shouldn't scrap mushrooms or berries because they can be turned into a food source.
Out of stuff to look at, I sat and waited for light. Zeds had reclaimed the path I had cleared, so undead blood paved the road to the ruins. It was a pond. Wiping the dead from the area, I investigated each building. Maybe the new ones would have something.
Ooh, cheeky fucker. These trees are dangerous, man. Come out of nowhere and get ya.
Surpassing 500 kills, I fumbled when my bat broke, but fought to regain control of the situation.
Oh, hello there. Exhaustion. A lot of swings. A lot of bodies too, though.
Nothing. Something. Spotting a bunch of cabinetry, I methodically searched the building, fully aware the half walls could let any upstart dead sneak in.
Looks like this is it. Looking for something big. If it's a hammer, I'll be so happy. A water bottle. Could really do with a water bottle. No. Nothing?
Nothing at all. There were still buildings to loot, but a yellow glow had fallen over the trees. I'd proven there was something out there. Unique buildings and ruins with loot nestled inside. But I noticed a significant problem. In a single day, I was starting to struggle to achieve my goals. And with the east wide open for exploration, it would only get worse. But that was an issue for tomorrow.